A Moment with Dr. Audreyann Moses.
Hello, this is Dr. Audreyann Moses, and you are watching A Moment with Dr. Audreyann. And I just want to say happy holidays to everybody. And today we're going to be talking about anxiety and how it affects us during the holidays. So I was reading an article, and I'm really going to share this article with you. It's entitled A Guide to Manage the Holidays with Self-Care and Balance. And it was written by young psychiatrist Elizabeth A. Grill, and actually she's a psychologist. And this article, you can find it in a magazine called Psychology Today. And it's online, or or probably look it up on the internet and you'd be able to find it. So what are some of your issues when it comes to the holidays? Just normal things that we go through. Okay, what am I gonna buy for who, and who's gonna cook what, and where's the money gonna come from, and who's gonna clean up, and is so-and-so coming home or not? Those are all things that everybody has to deal with. But sometimes we get so busy and we allow these things to kind of overwhelm us. And that's what we don't want to do. We don't want to allow these things to overwhelm us. So today, what I want to do is read you a little bit of this, and it says, what we want to learn how to do is to navigate the holiday season and without it turning into an emotional roller coaster. And we want it to be fun, and we want it to have joy, and we don't want to have emotional breakdowns. And I understand what that is, because I've had times when I have had to go through that. And taking care of yourself, and that's one of the reasons, is because I wasn't taking care of myself. I had 2 young ones, and I was basically doing it by myself, and it was just kind of crazy for me. So the holiday season can be a time of joy, connection, and celebration, but for some people it can also bring stress, loneliness, and emotional overwhelming. Whether it's the pressure to meet expectations, reminders of personal loss, or the weight, if you're feeling anxious about this time of year, know that you're not alone. Remember, it's okay to put yourself first, including your emotions, even during a season when often emphasis is given to others. Taking care of yourself allows you to experience the holidays in a way that's meaningful and sustainable for you. So we're going to talk about a few things. Set realistic expectations. What does that mean? Realistic expectations. So let's have an example. You have 5 kids, a household to run, a job to work, and you are trying to figure out what to do. Now, not to be mean, I can't think of another word to say, your Christmas planning really needs to start the day after Christmas the year before. But if it didn't, that's okay. We have a lot of last minute shoppers, we have a lot of last minute things, but it's time now for you to start working on whatever it is you want to do. And hopefully throughout the year, you have been seeing things you want to get for your kids, or things that you want to do for them and for your family, for your spouse and your parents, your siblings, or whatever. And so you are working on those things all along throughout the year. That helps to eliminate a lot of the stress. As you are doing that, you get to see, the sales that happen, in March or in February, especially, there's a lot of things go on sale right after the holidays. So a lot of people do go and pick up things that they want to use for next year. And that's a great idea. I know I always go to some of the stores and I pick up lights for my, for my tree and different little decorations and things for the house after Christmas because they're usually on sale. And that way I have a way to replace things that might get broken or that might have gotten broken, or things that might have, you know how those little light bulbs, who knows what happens to them when you have them wrapped up nice and neat and you have them put away, and when you pull it out, one of the bulbs is missing. How did that happen? But now you have a duplicate that you can use. You don't have to go run around, like a maniac trying to find a bulb to go in that string of lights. So those are things you can prepare yourself for early. And I know that you all do that. I'm just wanting to remind you. Another thing, being realistic means know your limits, know your financial limits. A lot of anxiety is caused because we spend too much money. Because our kids want this or that or the other. And so we overspend. We overspend. And then that's a worry that we're gonna have to deal with in January and February and March, because the bills still have to be paid. And I remember my children are grown with children of their own now, and my oldest son has two grandchildren. So when they were young, what we did was I would start as early as I could, and I would ask him what he wanted, and he would say, I remember one year he wanted a Nintendo. And the first year he wanted it, I couldn't afford it, I just couldn't. And he had Game Boy. This was when, obviously, I'm telling you, this is like in the early 90s, in the late 80s, when they had Game Boys and Nintendos and those things. And so he had a Game Boy, and I bought him another one, and he wanted a Nintendo, but I couldn't afford it. And so what I did was I laid it away, but I didn't tell him I had laid it away. I laid it away, and I paid on it every month until I got it out, and then, of course, I hid it where he couldn't find it. And so on Christmas Day, I gave him everything. You gotta do the socks and the t-shirts and the underpants because they need those things. So he knew those things were gonna be under the tree regardless of what else was there. But, so he got all those other things. And then it was later in the day, and his little mouth all stuck out. It was later in the day, I gave him the Nintendo, and he was very happy. So, my youngest son, I had to pack his stuff because he wasn't with me that particular Christmas. And so I had to pack all his stuff up early and mail it to him. So that was another thing that I had to plan, to make sure that I had it on, so that he would get it on time. And let go of perfection. We are not perfect, so know your limits, know what you can and can't do, and if you can't, just say no, and I have had to tell my children no because I couldn't afford it, and they got something else and they were happy, or they became happy, so just make sure that you don't overwhelm yourself with things trying to please children or even adults. If your spouse wants something that the budget can't handle, then you need to sit down and talk to your spouse and say, I'm sorry, honey, I can't buy you a Cadillac this year. I can buy you a refrigerator. And I know that that's not, I'm just being facetious, but I'm just saying, you know, let's talk about this. Let's see what we can do, because I want you to have a nice car, and let's see what we can do, you know, and then go from there. And as a married couple, your wife or your husband should be able to have that conversation early in the year, saying, okay, you know, this is kind of where we want to go with our Christmasing, you know. Be kind to yourself, okay? You're not perfect. You're not perfect. So be kind to yourself. Make sure that you are not charging yourself with things that you cannot do. You know, if you want to have a dinner party for the holidays, that's great. Have a dinner party for the holidays. But if you know that you can only comfortably cook for 10 people, don't invite 30. Invite 10. Invite 10 people and say, so if you want to invite couples, then you need to invite 5 couples, and you have 10 people. If you can afford a personal chef, that would be perfect. But if you cannot, then you are going to be your chef. And maybe like some of those couples, they are you all, obviously you're friends enough that you want to invite them over for a dinner party. Ask them to help, you know, ask them to bring something or whatever, you know, so that it doesn't overpower you as much, you know. So we will be right back, and we're going to talk a little bit more about taking care of ourselves during the holidays.
Soul, R&B, classic hits, gospel, southern soul, and jazz. What do they all have in common? I can tell you. Emerald City Radio. Tune in to Emerald City Radio at www.emeraldcityradio.com.
Welcome back. So we were talking about taking care of yourself during the holidays. And we were talking about if you want to have a dinner party and you want to invite some of your friends for this dinner party. One of the things that I love doing, I love having parties and identifying, and I haven't been able to do that. And it stressed me out a lot, you know, because my house was really small and it was really crowded, and I couldn't have people over because it was just not a good space for me. But I still enjoy doing things with other people. So I was one of the ones that loved it when somebody would ask me to come over and help them cook or help them, you know, decorate or help them whatever. So I'm sure that you have friends just like me that that would love to come over and be, you know, your helper while you're getting set up, as opposed to you running around, you know, like a crazy person trying to get everything together on your own. You don't have to. There is nothing in this world that you have to do on your own except accept Jesus into your heart. Other than that, there is somebody that can help you to do, and there's somebody that can help you even do that, so there is always somebody that is willing. You just have to be willing to reach out and not cause yourself massive anxiety. So be kind to yourself. So know your limits. Let go of your perfection, because nobody is perfect but Jesus. And be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. So, I was talking about prioritizing things. Make sure that as early as possible, you start making your plans. And that way you don't have to do everything at the last minute. It's like when you're traveling. Now, I love spur of the moment travel. I do. My husband might say, let's go for the weekend somewhere. I'm like, okay, where are we going? I like to have at least a week's notice, because I have responsibilities at church, and I want to make sure that somebody else is in place to take care of those responsibilities. But I like those. But usually we plan our trips in advance. Well, do the same thing for your holiday activities. Plan them in advance. Have your little list. Well, I'd like to do this. As you see things on TV or in the newspaper, events that are going on in the area, just kind of keep yourself a list of things that you want to participate in advance. When it comes to what you want to purchase for different people for Christmas, because although we all know that this time of season we are celebrating the birth of Christ, we know that, but it has become commercialized, which there's nothing we can do about now. So if you're going to participate in the commercial part of this holiday, then that means you have to spend money, which means you have to know how much money you're going to spend and when you need to spend it. So make sure that you have those things in place. If things get too hectic, you're running around, you're doing this, take a break. Just take a break, okay? The Walmart will be open tomorrow. If you can't get there, then you can't get there. So just go tomorrow. And or if you have, now I have seen people, I have had friends that have booked themselves to the minute with activities. You don't want to do that either. You don't want to do that. You don't want to have every single minute of your Christmas holiday booked with things that have to be done, or places you have to be, or obligations that you have accepted. And then you have you don't even have time to sit down and drink a cup of tea. So make sure that you step away if you have to step away. Miss something if you have to. Call and make arrangements to change things. Whatever it is you have to do, because if you pass out, then where are you going? To the emergency room. So what you want to do is make sure that you take care of yourself physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, socially. You have to take care of yourself in all of those ways, because if you don't, then something is going to fall apart. And when one thing falls, it's sort of like when your bowl falls out and all the marbles come out. If your bowl falls over, the marbles are not going to stay in there. They're going to start rolling out, and eventually they're going to all start rolling, and you're going to have a catastrophe. So make sure that you are maintaining that self-care, making sure that if you need to sit down, sit down. And I know I'm talking to the choir, I'm talking to myself, because people are always saying, okay, Audreyann, find a chair and sit in it. You know, just last week we had a big event that we had to pull together, and it was a wonderful event. Everything came off perfectly, but I tell you what, I was ragged by the time it was over. So, you know, we have to make sure we don't drag ourselves. Practice mindfulness. Stick to your routine. Okay, so let's talk about sticking to your routine first. If you go to the gym, go to the gym. And I know what it feels like when you fall off of that horse, because I was going to the gym regularly 2 times a week, but then I got sick, I had surgery and physical therapy and all that sort of stuff, and it really threw me off of my routine. And so this whole year I have been off of my routine. I go sporadically, but I've been trying to get exercise in anyway, even though I haven't been going to the Y. I always go to the Y, but I haven't been going because of those things. And so now I'm trying to get myself back into that back into that mode, back into that routine. Fortunately for me, I moved into a new house. My family moved into a new house, so my husband and I have been getting a lot of exercise, you know, pushing and pulling boxes. So I was grateful for that. But stay on your routine. If you go to the gym, go to the gym. If you know, whatever it is that you do, go to church. Go to church. If you know, don't drop out of things because it's the holidays. You know, continue to do those, because that will help your emotional self continue to thrive. You know, when you're doing things that you normally do, and these other things are added in. Okay. Again, make sure that you take breaks. Make sure you don't overwhelm yourself and be those, you know, and then those marbles start falling off the side of the tables. You know, make sure. So stick to your routine. Go to bed when you're supposed to go to bed. Don't stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning because it's Christmas and you're trying to do this, you're trying to do that. You know, wrap presents as you buy them. Don't hold them all and then wrap them all at the last minute. I know that's kind of fun, sort of, but, you know, try not to do that. Practice mindfulness. And what mindfulness means is that you are taking moments each day to check on yourself, to just say, okay, Audreyann, how are you doing? Are you okay? Are you, you know, was that a headache, you know, that you kind of feel coming on? You know, do something about that. You know, how is your body feeling? Go for a walk, you know. So those sort of things that are what you want to do. Make sure you eat food, real food, and we will come back and talk about that.
I'm Mac Hardy. Come on down to McCormick Tire and Oil. We open Tuesday through Saturday from 7:30 to 5. And we specialize in oil, tires, and brakes, wheelbarrows, CV axles. And but Middle Church discount is every day. And on Wednesday we have Senior Citizen Day. So come on down to McCormick Tire and Oil. We got everything you need. Thank you.
Welcome back. We've been talking about how to be realistic during the holidays. So know your limits. Let go of perfection Why? Because we are not perfect. Be kind to yourself. Take breaks. Stick to your routine. Practice mindfulness. And again, like I was saying, mindfulness means that you are checking in on yourself. You know, when was the last time you ate? During this big event I was telling you about, everybody kept saying, did you eat? Did you eat? Did you eat? Because I wasn't eating. You know, I'd snack, get a piece of celery or something, but no. Make sure that you eat, you know, to keep yourself healthy. Because if you get sick, then who's going to be running the show? Who's going to be having all the fun? It won't be you. You'll be in the emergency room. So, you know, take care of yourself. Be mindful of yourself. Set boundaries for yourself. The holiday season often comes with a flurry of social obligations. Remember, I just talked about that, which can be emotionally exhausting. Remember to set boundaries. Remember to just make sure that you remember that you cannot do all things for everybody at the same time or continuously. So set boundaries for yourself, and then you'll still be able to enjoy yourself. So the last thing I wanted to talk about is control what you can and allow other people to control what they can. Okay? You can't control everything. You're not supposed to control everything. Your job is over here. You know, so that's what you handle what you can handle. You let others handle what they can handle. And that way everybody gets a piece of the pie. Everybody gets to have a happy holiday season, and nobody ends up in the emergency room. Okay? You take care of yourself. And while you're doing that, you'll be able to take care of others. You'll be able to have a wonderful holiday, and everybody around you will have a happy, will have a wonderful holiday as well. So again, but while you're doing all of this commercial Christmas, make sure you remember what's really most important. Make sure you remember that the reason for the season, you know, we say that cliche, but I wonder how many people really understand that the reason is because we have a Savior that came to this earth and was born during this time, and we want to celebrate that because that Savior came to save us from our sins and to help us to be better people, to help us to learn how to take care of each other, to be kind and to be cheerful, and to you know, just spread the joy and the happiness that He brought to this earth. You know, there's a lot of chaos going on in the world. There's a lot of craziness going on in the world. We don't have to be a part of that. You know, our world can be loving and peaceful and kind and generous to others. And remember those that can't. You know, remember those that don't have. You know, share your abundance. Share the blessings that God has given you. Share those things and be gracious to others. You know, so this is Dr. Audreyann Moses, and this is a moment with Dr. Audreyann, and we have been talking about how to care for yourself during the holidays. And I thank you, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. If you want to contact me, transitionlifecoachforyou.com is the number 4, the letter U, or never say can't, CAINT, @yahoo.com. Again, be blessed during this holiday season. Take care of yourself and take care of others.
Tune in to the Quartet Show every Sunday at 8 p.m. with the Godfather Quartet, Brother Corey Johnson. on WCTL Channel 20. Come on and get you some of that good old hand-clapping, foot-stomping music. Again, that's the Quartet Show with the Godfather Quartet, Brother Corey Johnson.